Welcome back to Great with Kate. Today I'm going to be sharing a little bit about the African-American writer Toni Morrison. Toni Morrison was known for many pieces of work, from children's books to novels. She was a poet, a storyteller, and a very talented writer. Unfortunately, she passed away in 2018, yet her legacy and her stories still live on today. One of my favorite quotes written by her, or said by her, is, "If there's a book you really want to read but it hasn't been written yet, then you must write it." I think this quote can be taken in many different ways. The way I took it is that if there's something that you want to be done, or that's something you want to achieve, you have to achieve it yourself because no one else is going to do it for you. Some facts to know about Toni Morrison was that she was the first African-American woman to receive the Nobel Peace Prize. She was one of the first Black editors at Random House. She was a writer noted for her examination of Black experience, particularly Black female experience within the Black community. And lastly, Toni was actually a nickname. Her real name was Chloe. Some words that I would use to describe her would include passionate, creative, and unique. Some facts that you should also know about her is that she wrote novels, she wrote children's books, she was an African-American writer, and the Nobel Prize in Literature was presented to her in 1993 by President Barack Obama. And lastly, here's a short video from the Washington Post on Toni Morrison and her life.
People compliment ethnic writers by saying or implying that they are as good as mainstream writers. And whereas I understood the compliment, I thought it would be better for me, at least in the late 60s and early 70s, to establish once and for all that all three of those things play. I'm Black, I am a woman, and I'm a writer, and they go together.
Toni Morrison, the literary giant and trailblazing author, died at the age of 88. She was the first African-American woman to win the Nobel Prize for Literature, and that's just one of her barrier-breaking firsts. Born Chloe Ardella Wofford, Morrison grew up in Lorain, Ohio, and was the second of 4 kids. The daughter of Southern transplants, Morrison's grandfather was born into slavery. She was an avid reader during her formative years, with her tastes spanning from Tolstoy to Jane Austen. Her academic life began at Howard University, where she studied humanities, and continued on with a master's from Cornell. Morrison would remain a fixture in academia, most recently serving as the chair of humanities at Princeton from 1989 to 2006. She made her literary debut in 1970 with The Bluest Eye, and continued to explore race and identity throughout her work.
And I had a major question in my mind at that time, which was, how does a child learn self-loathing for racial purposes? Where does it come from? Who enables it? How is it infectious? And then what might be the consequences?
Beloved, her enduring novel inspired by a real runaway slave, won the Pulitzer Prize for Fiction in 1988 and was later translated to the screen by Oprah Winfrey. In 1993, she was honored with the Nobel Prize in Literature. The committee described her novels as having visionary force and giving life to an essential aspect of American reality. In 2012, she was awarded the highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom by then President Barack Obama.